All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Sustainable and Social Marketing Guest Lecture Series. My name is Dr. Derek Ong from Sunway University Business School, and today this is going to be the first of 4 guest lectures that we will be going live on Facebook, as well as brought to you by Sunway University Business School, especially the Sustainable and Social Marketing module taken by our BSc Honours in Marketing students. Okay, so today what we have is we have the pleasure of having Mr. Mathialagan Magendren, who is a member of the board of directors at the UN Global Compact Network in Malaysia and Brunei, as well as the corporate sustainability specialist for a pharmaceutical manufacturing public listed company called Duopharma Biotech Bhd. Mr. Mathia, you want to just say hi for first?
Hi.
Hi, okay.
Good morning and happy Earth Day.
Yeah. So just a little bit about him. He's an experienced corporate sustainability practitioner with a strong technical experience for leading sustainability initiatives and managing local and international sustainability framework related to systems so that they can move towards a more successful economy while keeping the environment and social pillars at the forefront. He also plays a very instrumental role in formulating designated sustainability strategies for corporate companies to meet globally recognized sustainability standards, such as inclusion of the FTSE for Good, Bursa Malaysia Index, and a series of ethical investment stock market indexes. He provides a strategic leadership at the UN Global Compact Network Malaysia and Brunei towards ensuring effective implementation of sustainable development related goals within the region. Now, he has also made contributions to the academic research on conservation of forestry, with his work being published in the 2020 Journal of Sustainable Forestry. And recently in 2021, he was conferred with the prestigious University of Nottingham Alumni Laureate Awards for his contribution to the community while displaying creativity and strong leadership in the area of corporate sustainability. That's a lot. So we're very, very happy to have Mr. Mathialagan with us. So take it away.
Okay, good morning and happy Earth Day, guys. How you're doing? Hope things are going fine. So we're going to take this conversation to very casual manner so that it won't be very restrictive, and there'll be a really good session of Q&A later on. And let me just share my screen with you. As you can see, right. Right, can you see my screen?
Yep. You can, yeah, make the screen bigger.
All right. Oopsie daisy. All right. Okay, before I start the whole session, let me reintroduce myself again. My name is Mathialagan Magendren. You can call me Madhi. I'm also representing UN Global Compact Network Malaysia's board of director and sustainability specialist for public listed company on sustainability related matters. And the company name is Duopharma Biotech Bhd, as what I mentioned. Okay, today I'm going to talk about corporate sustainability and its responsibility. What is corporate sustainability? Why it's so popular recently, and how it came about in Malaysia. Okay, from there, then we're going to talk about business responsibility as well. Okay, first let me go through the table of content. Just 4 segments in this area. There will be corporate sustainability and global issue. We're just going to touch in general what are the current global issue. And then we're going to talk about reporting in Malaysia, because corporate sustainability very much related to sustainability reporting in the country. And also we're going to talk about responsibility of businesses in terms of the pillar of environment and social. And then later on, we're going to look at one of the example on consumer behavioral changes. Okay, first, let me go through the corporate sustainability and global issue. Okay. What is sustainability? Of course, from the ever popular phrase, it's known as a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising ability of the future generation to meet their own need. Why? Because the future generation need the healthy planet to move on and sustain their life as well. Sometimes you see in news or LinkedIn or any article, you tend to see two terms. One is called ES, ESG. One stands for economy, environment, social, and another one stands for environment, social, and governance. Both are interchangeably used, but they actually mean the same. Okay. When you talk about sustainability, people always associate with three major pillars: planet, people, and prosperity. And the middle segment that combine all of these three areas would be the sustainable approach that we are looking at for the company and for the nation as well. Okay, let me just go through a few of the global issues currently. Okay, and during our pandemic, okay, if we have seen massive lot of aquatic life being damaged due to pollution in the sea, and that's one of the example for degradation of environmental factor. And also for social pillar, you can look into you can look into Top Glove issue, which happened very recently, where they banned their the import-export related market due to labor issue. And one of the labor issue that they found is the confiscation of passport and the usage of middlemen and hiking up the tariff, and that really suffered the labor industry. And also, when you look at economy, you can look at Duopharma Biotech, when they managed to supply 6.4 million doses of Russian COVID vaccine. They're bringing in for the country. Why is it so? Because bringing vaccine in and opening up the economy is the next big thing for our country to prosper. And another example, another set of example from ES, which I'm going to touch on, is the Malaysian last Sumatran rhino, Iman dies. Everyone knows that this particular species died because of cancer, and another particular group of animal also died in the region recently because of health diseases and so environmental pollution. But at the end of the day, it's all because of forest fragmentation. Why forest fragmentation? Because of the practice of corporate company at times. They don't take into environmental factor into the account, and that led to forest fragmentation. Forest fragmentation here means shrinking the forest, and then the animals has nowhere to run, and then they move to this particular spot, and that will also make it so easy for poaching to happen. It's a real life scenario and happens on yearly basis. It's very extreme now, and we have problem in Hong Kong now, like the free speech, like the suppression of freedom of speech due to communist assault. And this has received massive backlash from communities all around the world, and also countries all around the world, where the freedom of speech must be retained. Okay, in terms of economy, you can look at Elon Musk, where he's plugging a giant battery into Texas grid. Why is he doing so? Because we want to improve the energy efficiency, of course, and energy capacity in this particular state. By doing so, you can also lead towards prosperous economy, because you open up job market when you're building a plant over there. Okay, now we're going to talk about sustainability reporting in the country. Why sustainability reporting is very popular. Okay, first of all, there's an enactment from Bursa Malaysia saying that public listed company in particular must disclose their sustainability data in the form of sustainability statement or report. Interchangeably used, sometimes you can say statement or report. They mean the same. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, ES or ESG data are being disclosed, and this is one of the examples of how we disclose our sustainability report. Previously, the practice, not just in Malaysia, I mean other countries as well, they were focused on CSR related activities. But now it's more sustainability, where they look at environment, social, and economy. And CSR is a subset material matter, each one of the topic under social. So you can see how the sustainability space has grown over the last 20 to 30 years. In the country, it started in 2015 after enactment of Bursa. And then when it comes to international reporting framework, so we do have a lot of framework for sustainability, and one of it would be UN Global Compact's SDG framework, where they focus on 10 principles of UN Global Compact, where they're looking into Declaration of Human Rights, International Labour Organization Declaration, Rio Declaration, and Convention Against Corruption. These are the areas that you can look into. And of course, the ever popular Sustainable Development Goal, you have 17 goal and 169 target, where companies tend to match the goal and target with their operation, work processes, how is it related to them, how do you want to improve to reach the goal for 2030. Okay. Next, I'm going to brief you guys on the sustainability reporting focus area, because many people have a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to sustainability report. Is it just the report? Do they have any process in it, or is it so easy? It's not very easy. It's quite a technical process, but let me just guide you guys one by one. First of all, you have sustainability assessment module 1. Why you do sustainability assessment? For any sort of process, right? If you want to kickstart it, you need to run through an assessment. Why? To look at the maturity level. From the sustainability assessment, you can able to gauge the maturity level, okay? And then you can dictate the terms that you want to play in to pursue the sustainability agenda for the company. And then we look at peer comparison. Why peer comparison? Because you need to be very competitive in the market, because it's advancement for public company to brand themselves that they're sustainably aware of ES matter. Okay. Right after that, you have to do scoping activity. Why scoping activity? For any sort of reporting, you need to have massive scoping. Why scoping? Scoping improve the process how you dictate your report. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few examples of scoping later on. Next, I'm going to go through identification of sustainability matters. Sustainability matters will be something crucial for your operation. Okay, it could be something in the category of risk, or it could be in the category of opportunity. But as long as very much related to your industry, okay, and you might have like hundreds of it, okay, but you may never know which is suitable for your company. Okay, in order to see the suitability, you need to run through a stakeholder engagement process. Stakeholder engagement process, you have processes related to gathering the data in form of quantitative and qualitative, also known as mixed model approach. Okay, and from this mixed model approach, you try to align it with the business operations sense. Okay, and from there you develop two axes. One is, I said, for stakeholder perspective, and one for business perspective. And then you come up with the materiality assessment, where you have identified the crucial sustainability method to be fitted into the matrix. Okay, and after you fit them into matrix, what do you do? Like, is it there just for a nice and clean look on your report? No, it's more towards the management of the material matter. You need to manage those matters. Okay, by managing the matter, of course, you need to be balanced, meaningful, and comparable. You can't just disclose the same data here and here without improvement. And if your improvement go down the drain, you need to really come out with a proper initiative to enhance the management. Okay, and all of these will be recorded in the sustainability statement. That's where the final piece is for the development of sustainability statement. Okay, and module 3, this is slightly more advanced. After you develop that, you might see that, okay, we need to develop internal framework. So framework, you could always get it from SDG. For example, you have another framework called GRI, and also you can also use industry specific framework like SASB. Okay, also you have BRUSA framework, definitely. So you might want to take all this into account and develop internal framework. Once you develop that, you go through another process called the organizational capacity building. What we do here, training. Why training is crucial? So that everyone in the company will know and will study the sustainability methods which are important for the company. Okay, so these are the whole chunk of sustainability reporting in the focus area perspective. As I mentioned before, right? There are three scopes, right? So first of all of that, okay, we have geographical scope. Okay, this is one of the example from Public Bank Berhad, where they're focusing on in the region of Asia, okay, Southeast Asia and also Asia Pacific. And then we have another scope called the size of operation. This is from Duopharma Biotech Bhd. For example, we have operation in Malaysia, okay, and also we have operation overseas, like for example, we have in Philippines, Singapore, and Indonesia. For the first year reporting, we say, okay, we only going to cover the operation in Malaysia. Why? Because it already accounting up to 90% of the operation. Okay, so ideally you need to get to 100% when it comes to your scope. Everything could be geographical, size operation, or entire value chain. And then you have entire value chain. What do you mean by entire value chain? You might have 10 subsidiaries outside Malaysia, but you might just have 2 companies in Malaysia, but 2 of the companies providing 95% of your value in terms of revenue. So you can always take the 2 companies. Okay, this is one of simple example rather than just reading in on the slide. Okay, next we have sustainability governance. Why governance is crucial? Okay, governance, we can relate it to something very close to us when it comes to business sense, called the top to bottom approach. I know it's a very classic approach, but that is the most effective sort of approach when it comes to sustainability at the start. Why? So why you do this? Because you want people to able to absorb the KPI related to sustainability. So what they do, they get the endorsement from board of director. Okay, like for Duopharma, we have board of director, and then we have risk management and sustainability committee, where 2 of the board of directors are sitting in it, where they will supervise the whole corporate sustainability work in the company. Okay, also you have group management committee at the side, where they're looking at overall management of the company operation. Okay, and then you have something called the Sustainability Management Council. Usually the practice, you have heads or senior managers from many departments. They will be in this particular council. Why they are in this council? So that you're able to provide advice, okay, to the person who are leading the sustainability initiative for better activity for the company. Okay, and then you have group sustainability department. That is the case of Duopharma. So you might see the structure might change according to different company, different structure, of course. And for us, under group sustainability department, we have 3 major areas. First, you have safety, health, and environment, and then you have corporate sustainability. That's where I come in. So I'm handling the whole corporate sustainability area, and then you have operation excellence. That is what you look into savings through project like Lean Six Sigma, Kaizen. Okay. Next, stakeholder engagement. There are a lot of stakeholders in this topic, especially internal and external stakeholder. There are a lot of it, and it might differ according to companies. So what I've fitted here in this slide purely on how to gather data from stakeholder. First, you need to be able to communicate. Okay, always consult early and often. Why? Because planning is very crucial in any sort of work, especially in corporate. And remember, they are only human. Sometimes you might have a problem in retrieving data because they don't really understand your work, and they might have a different attitude. But at the end of the day, everyone's human being. So you must learn the method to engage stakeholders properly. Okay, of course you need to planning. Okay, and then relationship are key here, because you need to maintain constant relationship with them so that the advancement of the sustainability agenda won't be affected. It sounds simple, but it's not easy. Okay, it's just part of managing risk, where you look at the risk of the entire company, and then you look at how you compromise on things that you're not able to get. Not everything you'll be able to get at times. Okay, and then you must understand what success is. And for me, this is the most important thing. Okay, take responsibility. Without self responsibility, nothing can move on. Okay, of course you have gathered the data, okay, from the material matter, okay, and then you can plot them in to a matrix. Okay, of course you need to manage the matter based on matrix later on. All right, okay, for the matrix, right, this is one of the example from one of the corporate company from Nestle. Okay, so you can see high prioritized areas: food safety and quality, nutrition, health, wellness, integrity, and governance. Okay, not to say diversity and inclusion and rural development empowerment are neglected. Okay, in sustainability report in the matrix, if it's lower, that doesn't mean it's bad, because in the matrix we look at risk and opportunity. So they might be looking in terms of opportunity rather than risk at the same time. And this is an example for Sunway. One of the top 10 material items are water security, water pollution. Why water? Because water scarcity is the biggest issue right now in the world. Okay, it's also like a contributing issue for the entire world. Okay, and then we have air pollution. Air pollution be as deadly as gun crime, as I mentioned before. And also you have customer health and safety, OSHA, occupational health and safety, customer privacy, very crucial, energy security, and air pollution in terms of global warming, and then you have biodiversity and climate change. Okay. Okay, this is an example which I want to share with you guys. Okay, how a company managed to transform from a position of risky situation into a good opportunity. If you look at 2015, 14, and 13, okay, they have the number of audit and also number of findings. But one of the findings is like child labor practice for 14 and 13. For 2015, they don't have it. Okay, for 13 and 14, they have one case of child labor practice. People were actually worried initially. If you disclose this, okay, might reduce the or maybe damage the reputation of the company. But because of Coca-Cola being so transparent, it actually managed to be transformed into an opportunity rather than risk, because they came out with a target how to solve this issue. Okay, and one of way how they did it is like to achieve at least 98% compliance with independent franchise bottling and 95% compliance with supplier guiding principle. So they come up with proper principles so that the whole supply chain is better and cleaner in the sense of social context. Okay, this is for Duopharma Biotech Bhd and how we engage in environmental related matter. So for energy saving initiative, we replaced the old tube and bulbs into LED. Why? Because it saves energy. And also we are using solar panel powered street light so that the carbon release will be lowered. And also we have upgrading and replacing inefficient machinery like chillers. Why we do this? Okay, because inefficient equipment will lead to energy losses. Okay, energy losses will automatically lead to carbon emission because of high content of energy power supply. Okay, we also plan to introduce energy monitoring device for all of our site in 2020. We did. We also want to go for solar energy. The thing with solar is it could be good, it could be bad, because there are also statistics and also scientific data saying that if you implement solar, the waste product of the solar in long term running, right, will actually incur more carbon release. Okay, you need to be really careful on the overall solution that you want to bring for a company, because it's going to be very costly, going to cost you millions. So you need to be careful in that sense. So in order to improve our energy, what do you call this, targets, okay, we have set a reduction target intensity for 5% on a yearly basis. So setting indicator goals and target are really crucial. Okay, this is for the overall reporting opportunity. Okay, when you do sustainability reporting, of course, there's a common market trend now saying that what you call this sustainability reporting is done in a very in a very marketing way, I would say. People just overselling it. Okay, it's true. So but before we go into that, I'm just going to explain to you the reporting opportunity. First, you enhance your risk management, so you will know what is your risk again and engage with all the process owner, because for sustainability you have to take into account risk and opportunity. Also, you need to save through resource efficiency. You can do that. And also, you engage more with your stakeholders, so the needs will be matched, and also they'll be much more happier. And because of their happier situation, automatically increase the investor focus, and you have good report, right? And when you have massive lot of investment coming into your company, you attract and retain more employee. Ultimately, that's what the big boys in top 100 company in the world are doing. Okay, and of course you manage your reputation well. Okay, talking about overselling the sustainability report, in order to combat that particular issue, we go through something called a assurance process. What is assurance? What is an assurance process? Assurance is from the word itself, to assure your report, okay, that it is true, it's not deviated. Okay, so this particular process will go through a massive verification stage of processes. Okay, and according to one of the big four, okay, they say that non-financial reporting assurance ensure transparent communication on non-financial data, and also it reduces the risk of probable deceptive information, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, it can reduce the risk of overselling the sustainability report. Okay, it increases the reliability and credibility of information, and also it can plan you ahead for better decision making in your sustainability journey. Okay, not just from the perspective of transparency and also disclosures. Okay, so you have three benefits. So first, you enhance credibility of information. Investors will be having much more higher confidence on your data, and also the data risk will be reduced tremendously. Automatically increase your value of reporting. It shows that the whole chain is reliable right now. And the most important thing for me, I think, it will strengthen the internal reporting and management system. You need to have strong framework first within, before you set out your supply chain to be clean. One of the example. Okay, that's why we conduct sustainability assurance, and this year Duopharma are also going on the process of sustainability assurance. Good news, we have completed it, and we'll be disclosing in our future reports soon. Okay, next I'm just going to go through a few examples of business responsibility in terms of the context of environment and social. Okay, here we have Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Why? It's a new and improved sugar-free cola. It looks and tastes like even more like the classic version without the sugar. Okay, why? Because people are aware that sugar is bad and people want to reduce the sugar intake. So Coca-Cola came out with this. Okay, but also another emerging trend recently. Okay, they realized that sweetener being used to replace sugar actually will spike your insulin in a higher level. So consistent insulin spike in your body will have insulin resistance, and insulin resistance is the conditioning for you to have pre-diabetic condition or other inflammatory diseases. So now they're looking back, okay, maybe you can go back to sugar. So they're studying better glycemic index, for example. Of course, alternative like sugar alcohol, like erythritol and xylitol can be used, but they're also studying the comfortability of the customer, because these particular sugar alcohols can cause discomfort for your stomach. So marketing need to be studied all the time in order to cater to current need of the population to be healthy. Okay, and then you have a policy enacted in Coca-Cola sustainability governance structure. just two major policy here. If only a human right policy and then your supplier guiding principle. Why they came out with this strong policy? Purely because to combat the child labor issue, which we saw earlier. Okay, this is their mitigation process and managed to clean out the issues that they had before. Okay, another form of social marketing, which is an emerging trend. You would have seen some of this before. Okay, but I'm just going to explain to you. This is from the oil palm industry for the first one, for Head and Shoulder, because they're using a product that leads to forest destruction. As I mentioned before, forest destruction in the form of fragmentation, also causing a high number of wildlife poaching. Okay, many cases have been seen, like for example in Indonesia, massive poachers coming from the region of China, and a lot of species extinction. It's not good, but one good thing from a good social marketing strategy, managed to improve the border strength. Okay, so you need to have like strong border within countries so that poaching activity won't be taken into account. Okay, and then you have human right act by amnesty. What it shows here is purely because it's showing whatever happening around us, we're ignoring it, even though it's happening just right beside us. Okay, it might be a really big issue, a small issue. So we need to look into human right related matter. Okay, and another one, which is known as the Save the Paper Act by WWF, very popular, actually managed to improve a lot of students' awareness in universities. Especially they will use less paper because of the deforestation issue that happening around. And then another issue, air pollution. Okay, this is just to show air pollution is as deadly as gun crime. Okay, why air pollution? Because it can really mess up our lung, and when our breathing is compromised, we might have many other health issues. Okay, another case which I'm looking at now, we're going to go to just a few of the case study. Okay, this is a popular company in Canada called 10-3. Okay, this is the latest number of tree they've planted, 56 million, which was yesterday's number. Okay, so why they do this and how it has benefited them? Okay, why they do this? Because the CEO is actually an environmentalist. So through the passion of environmental related issue within him, he drive a solution by opening up a new company, indicating that they should be planting 10 trees for each of product they're selling. Okay, it has received massive applause in terms of marketing strategy as well, but most important thing, it improved their revenue. Sales has been tremendous for them, and they plan to plant 1 billion tree by 2030. I think they can achieve the target. They're doing great. It's remarkable. Okay, another very controversial case study where a whistleblower from the CocaCola company, all right, one of the employee complained that what you call is the trainer in the form of diversity training, okay, urged them to be less white. By telling workers to be less white is also equally racist than other racial comment as well. Okay, so it became viral, and they actually received quite a massive backlash in the country. And then we have, this is one of the latest problem in America itself, Major League Baseball. This is Manfred, okay, Manfred, the commissioner of MLB, okay, he decided to move the game from Georgia to Denver, Colorado, okay, because of new water law. Why they are against this new water law? Because of political affiliation, of course, but the majority of the population in Georgia wanted the new voting law by having voter ID, for example. Why? Because they want to increase the transparency in election process, which is what many countries should be doing. But the most funny part here, right? They moved from Georgia to Denver, Colorado, and Colorado has much more stricter voting process. Okay, you're not even allowed to give your friend or family food. All right, and also you have 51% of the population in Georgia, African American, and you only have less than, I think, 10% in Denver, Colorado who are African American. So they are not really what you call this, providing the marginalized community the help like what they declared before. So it received massive backlash. Okay, famous term in America: "Go woke, get broke." Okay, their rating went down. Okay, for sure, and this is a form of an example, I would say, that how it is affecting many corporate companies. Okay, even though this is not a corporate company, it's an NGO. It's called BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement. Self-described Marxist leader Petrus Khan found to have utilized the money from jail reform initiative for her own benefit, and this has received massive backlash, and many companies who associated them with this BLM movement now feeling the regret and start moving out. And it also reduced what a confidence level in the African American community. Okay, this is something you need to look into before you're partnering any company. If you want to partner with any NGO, you need to be careful and study the background and what's the real initiative. Okay, and this is one of the case happened in China, where H&M, actually Nike as well, to be precise, where they realized there's a mistreatment of particular minority in China, and then what they say, okay, they want to boycott in China, they're not going to utilize the product, and it received a backlash from them, from the Chinese government, where the consumer, they don't want to utilize the product as well. Okay, what H&M say is deeply concerned by a report from civil society organization and media that they include accusation of forced labor and discrimination of ethno-religious minority. Really big issue right now, but it's not being shown in our mainstream media for some reason. Okay, and now we have last slide, which is consumers' behavioral changes. Okay, this is something we need to look into account. Okay, consuming red meat, for example, consuming meat in general. Okay, so when it comes to consuming meat, okay, Beyond Meat have really transformed the mentality of people, how they actually manage to dictate the behavior of people from eating meat to eat non-meat product. Okay, you can see it from Q3 2018 to Q3 2019, where the restaurant and food services has increased in percentage. Okay, it means that okay, the revenue climbed 250% year over year. Okay, not just that. Okay, they reported 36.3 net revenue increase. Okay, and they managed to expand into a larger business scale because of partnership with big boys like McDonald's, Yum Brand, and PepsiCo. And this is indirectly improve what you call this, the perception on veggie meat product. Okay, really good example. Okay, and this is the final slide. There are a lot of opportunity for students, especially after they graduate in sustainability fields. As you can see, there's one on KLK Oleo, sustainability executive, and then you have Deloitte, Nestle, Tradewin, Plantation Berhad, many more. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madhi. That was very, very overall arching understanding of what sustainability. Now, I'm just going to jump into some of the questions because I think we have about 15 minutes, and I'll just get straight into the questions. If you want to, yeah. Okay, so we have one participant who's asking, is there an instrument that we can adopt to do the comparison of companies' sustainability practices?
Yeah, we do have many software being established now in the market, provided by consultant. Okay, it could be in the form of rating, sustainability assessment rating. For example, even you'll be included in FTSE for Good, right? So you'll be actually compared in the industry and peers. So automatically you can draw a comparison. Okay. There's also sustainability reporting software. Another popular trend who just came up, I think 3-4 years ago. So it's always revolving, and there's always need for software because they realize, manpower tend to be very costly nowadays, especially after pandemic. Okay, but I think investment in sustainability is necessary. Why? Because they want to grow the strategy of the company in long-term running.
Okay, yeah, that's important because most of the time, instruments is out there, but we just have to go and search for it, But if you
Correct.
can pass us some of the links, that would be great now.
Yes.
So that some people can adopt it later on as well. I'm gonna go into the second question. Somebody wants to know, are there any laws in place or being put in place to fast track sustainability implementation in Malaysia?
Okay, there's no hard rule saying that they can monitor or they look at the speed of the reporting. Okay, but what Bursa Malaysia does, okay, they look into your report. Okay, for example, for us, what we did, like we received a letter, a well done letter from Bursa saying that we have improved our rating from probably lowest tier to highest tier right now in our reporting. That's one of the measurement. Okay, but in terms of fast tracking, like mandatory law, no, not there. But most companies are attaching themselves with international framework where they are fast tracking themselves once they get into a very strong position, even not even strong position, even a foundation basis of sustainability. It depends on the industry. Like for example, industry from food and beverages, they might not take it seriously. They might take it very slow. Not to say very seriously, they take it slow. But for rubber industry, because of very scrutinized industry right now, and oil and gas, even though they are very at a very infant stage in their sustainability reporting, they tend to fast track it because of the pressure that they face from investor. So you have multivariate analysis of issue going on to fast track their process.
I see. So it kind of means that you have already answered the next question, because somebody wants to know which industry is the most proactive. Like you just said, you just said food and beverage and all, right? Is the most proactive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the proactive, I think the companies have been doing sustainability in the country before the enactment of Bursa was always the oil palm industry and also oil and gas, because they are usually the most scrutinized industry. Okay, recently, what you call it, glove industry also came under the light. And so food and beverages, they tend to take a high position as well in this area. And recently, over the last 2 years, I think it's like overall contribution or collaboration of industry. So I think the most important thing here is actually the role of industry association. Because if you have a strong sustainability understanding in one particular industry association, right, easily they can dictate what is the next move for sustainability strategy. Because now the problem is probably a company from banking industry might compare themselves with oil and gas, saying that, oh, actually they're releasing less emission. Yes, because the nature of the operation is such. So I think if you industry association come in place, right, they have their own specific standard of sustainability, at least the sustainability agenda in the country will prosper better level, and also you have better understanding.
I see. Which actually, I personally have one question for you. With people talking about sustainability, pushing for sustainability, today is actually the first time I realized that, yeah, when you want to claim for sustainability for any industry or any company, there must be that, what's that word? Transparency and accountability to that claim, which is what you just mentioned for every company. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about the SME. Okay, not just the big company. Of course, the big companies, we, the consumers, we will hold them accountable. What advice will you give for the SMEs to strike out and to really diverse themselves or defer themselves from these big companies in the area of sustainability? What advice will you give the SMEs?
Okay, for the SMEs, what they could do, okay, because in order to stand out compared to the public listed company or the same level playing field, what they can do, they can look for partnership. For example, if you're partnering yourself with a reputable body like UN Global Compact about Malaysia, okay, you're going to enhance your credibility. Not just enhancing your credibility, you will have the tools from that particular organization to study what the sustainability is. First, they will be educated. And then from the education, they can kickstart their sustainability journey. That's one of the factors. Another factor we can look into the role of governmental agency, like for example, Matrade, any other agency, that they can actually come up with sustainability initiative for these SMEs, because the big boys are pretty much established, but the focus should be on SME, because during the pandemic, okay, and after the pandemic, the most affected group in business sense will be the SME. So we need to revive the economy aligning to SMEs, because they also have bread and butter.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Because a lot of people don't really give attention to the SMEs. You know, there's a lot of talk about, oh, we have to revive our SMEs and we got to make sure our SMEs are pushing forward the agenda. But, you know, I see a lot of talk, but not a lot of action going on. And I like that idea where you say partner, partner. Try and find a big brother or a big sister that you can latch on to and build that responsibility. All right. I've got one more question, which is, can we trust a sustainability report's data when the company has not conducted assurance, which you did mention something about assurance just now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a bit controversial, okay? A bit controversial in that sense, because like, many corporate companies sometimes they tend not to spend on assurance, okay? But I personally think that, investors are looking at it. They're monitoring it, and also many other players are monitoring it, okay? Companies should always go for assurance. At least it should have like assurance practice like every 2 years or 3 years one, just to strengthen up the internal system, okay? And even during assurance, right, no matter how advanced we are, how advanced the company is, you will have some sort of findings to improve. Findings are actually good. People don't like findings during audit, but I always look at it as a bright side of the tunnel, because it's going to provide you what you call it, a removal of blockage sort of status, okay, for your sustainability agenda. So I personally think, companies should go for assurance and also to verify the data accordingly. It might not be necessary for them to go to the whole material matter. Maybe only the top prioritized matter, or a few which is striking in the enterprise risk management, really will be helpful for external internal stakeholders as well.
Okay. See, this is where I do agree with you. When we talk about sustainability, you see, a lot of people don't understand this term sustainability. The root word is sustain. Do you actually have the sustain thing of whatever policies that you put in place? If you want to talk about continuous improvement, you don't have continuous improvement. So why is there no continuous improvement? Right? And this is why we need to keep asking people to make sure there is a continuous improvement. Correct? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, because I think we only have about 6 more minutes to go. Is there anyone with any other questions? Maybe I can just take one more question if you have one. If you want to use the Google form, you can use the Google form. If not, you guys can just ask, unmute yourself. I'll just ask if there's anybody who has any questions from the group here. If anybody? Nobody? Okay, right. Okay, I got one last question. Okay, just one last question. Now, you talked about the triple bottom line just now, you know, about prosperity, about the planet and the people. Okay. What advice would you give for any, not just company, but let's just talk about small projects, okay? What advice will you give when they want to think about an objective of a project that meets this triple bottom line?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just give this example wherever I go. Okay, might look like a free market capitalist sort of principle. Okay, but okay, just a minute. Okay, so there are two consulting company. Okay, one of them given opportunity to build a nuclear reactor plant in let's just say in Borneo. Okay, forest area, and then another company also given the same opportunity. Company A has like it's like a strong resources and they're able to sustain themselves financially. That's the keyword. Okay, company B, they don't have it. They don't have the power to sustain, and this is a big money project. Okay, company A can choose to opt out because of reputation, and they know what sort of work it will bring, and also the effect it will bring to the community surrounding. Company B, they will do whatever they want to improve their financial data number, okay, by just agreeing to the project. Okay, this shows that being rich not necessarily evil. Okay, when you are stable financially, you're able to make ethical decision. When you have like stable income and everything else, you're able to decide what sort of decision you want to go after in terms of social context and also environmental pillar. So that's how the triple bottom line works for me. Okay, so for SMEs, how they can work on that, they can definitely partner themselves, like big organization like UNGC. Okay, there'll be one of the great opportunity like I mentioned before. But in general, this is how it works, and people need to look at the strength of profit and tie it with social and environment by putting the sustainability KPI for major process owner in the company. That would be a very good move.
I want to just share with everybody here that most of the startup companies here, if let's say you're a startup company, you do want to strike it out and you do want to understand about sustainability and how to brand yourself as a sustainable company or a company that is I would say practices sustainability. Now, if you do not know where to start, Mr. Mathialagan is the person to ask him. Okay, I'm sure that you can find him on LinkedIn. He is on LinkedIn, yeah, because he's there. Please add him on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions you want to ask him, moving forward after today's very, very informative session. I know we only have 1 hour. Maybe the next time I'll get you for 2 hours, because there's just so many things to unpack. Okay, what you have today is just scratching the surface only. Am I right?
I agree.
Yeah, you're just scratching the surface. But even with this 1 hour, you've given us so much of information, so much of good case studies, very relevant and very current case studies, especially in this day and age where climate change is such an important issue, where business processes need to relook at their business processes and reverse the effects of climate change, which is really affecting our planet right now, right? So, is there any last things you want to say before we end the session today?
Nope. I just want to say that in order to prosper to a better sustainable development progress, okay, we need to take self-responsibility first, okay, to sort ourselves out, okay, before sorting other people. Okay, that's the most important thing. I always give this particular advice to others. Okay, no point like I'm advising the whole bunch of people and I'm not good myself. Okay, so you need to sort out your skill set in terms of your sustainability, also any other line that you are good at, okay, so that you can be really beneficial to the community around. So utilize your education well provided by Sunway, and also you have great lecturer as well, okay, who giving you the knowledge that needed. Okay, I hope this will be really beneficial for your future plan as well.
All right. So we want to thank you again, Mr. Mathialagan, for being here with us. We are truly, truly appreciative. And I also want to apologize because I heard that there were some people that couldn't get into the link, and I don't know, maybe it's just some Zoom issue on my end or whatever. So I really take this opportunity to publicly apologize. It's not you, it's me, probably my setup and everything. But thank you so much. This meeting is being recorded, and we will share the link with all the participants who have registered today. And for the rest of us, Mr. Mathialagan has just reminded me of a line from one of my favorite singers, Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson. If we want to make a change, we got to look at ourselves and then make the change.
Agree.
Okay, so thank you everybody. I hope you have a great day today ahead, and thank you again, Mr. Mathialagan, for giving us your time and so on. All right, thank you everyone. Stay safe and keep
Take care.
well. Bye bye.
Bye.